Hey there, I'm your host Lisowi, and this is part 6 of the crafting series. In the last episode, we went ahead and created a transfer slots functionality, and in today's episodes, we'll do a split option. So with that said, let's begin. Let's go ahead and open up the inventory component, folder, and inventory component. So in here then, we want to create a new function called split stack. And we want two inputs here. We want both of them to be an integer. The first one will be the index, and the second one will be the split quantity. So split quantity. We want to get the inventory slots and get a copy of this index here. This will give us the item. So we can split this open and promote this to a local item ID. And another one, local quantity. So let's connect that in here, and let's also connect this. Right, next let's get a sequence, and just like we did with the transfer slots function, on one we'll have the update, so update inventory, in this case just the one. And next we'll check any slots available. And we'll get a branch. So if there is space in the inventory, we can go ahead and split. Now this index, we will promote to a local variable as well. Local available index on true. Let's go ahead and do that. Keep it clean, and we'll have a second branch. Now in this branch, I want to check is the split quantity equal to the item quantity, so the total here. So we'll grab the split quantity, we'll get the local quantity as well, and we want to see if they're not equal to each other. And boolean, we want to see if it's not equal to 1. We don't want to be able to do this if it's just the one item. Right, so if both of these happen to be true, we can go in a branch, like so. And then on true, we can do create new stack. Just updates the array element again. So we have this index here, so get index. And the new source here. So available index. So the stack we're moving stuff to. So this will get the item ID. And the quantity will be the local quantity minus the split quantity. So we get the split variable here. That's the quantity that will go here. And then the new place will get the split quantity and the same item ID. And there we go. That should be it. So let's compile and save. Next then, we'll go ahead and deal with the UI. Now for the UI, I want to go ahead and create a new section called comment. And in here, we'll create a button. So we'll do user interface, widget, wb underscore custom button. Let's go ahead and open that. And we'll add in our button and text. For the button, I want to name it button. And for the text, we'll just do txt underscore button text. I'll make it variable. So for the button itself, I want to go to style and we can remove, so on normal, we want this to be a rounded box. And the settings, the corner radius, we can leave as 4. So for the width, we'll change it to 3. For the outline, I will use a color I have saved here. So if you like it, feel free to use it right there. And we want this setting to apply for hover and pressed as well. So we can copy, paste, and paste on pressed. Now, the only thing you will have to change is the tint. So the normal tint, we want this to be slightly gray by default. We'll just do white. Then on the hovered, we want slightly gray. So we'll leave it about here. And then if we actually press it, a little darker. So something like this will work. Now the actual background color, I'll use this color I have saved here. So again, if you want to use it, it's right there. Hit OK. And this is what we get. So once you're happy, which I am, and this is looking nice, we can go ahead, compile and save that. With that then, let's go to the event graph. And in here on the pre-construct, let's grab the text, do set text, promote this to a variable, button text, make this instance editable. And if we add this to our pre-construct, we can set this in the UI itself. Now on event construct, well, we don't need that. We want an event dispatcher on clicked. And we want to call that when we click this button on click. Like so. Compile and save. So with the button done, let's go back to the UI folder, inventory, and let's create a new widget for the split functionality. WB underscore, I'll call it the split or item slider. That's what I call it. You could also use this for dropping if you want to drop items. So in here then, we want to, what we can actually do instead of grabbing the borders, we could open up the inventory and just take the two borders, go in here and paste that in there. Don't need any of that. So with the borders, we do need a vertical box though, so we'll add that in here. Padding we'll leave at 10. Okay. Right. Now, then we want to grab text for what this actually is. We'll center align that. Size it to 18. And we'll say split amount. Doesn't need to be variable, so have it off. txt underscore split amount. And we'll just say split amount. So this will stay as it is. Next then, we want a text that's editable. So this one here, drag it to your vertical box. Now with this text, we want to make sure it's in the center as well. And let's see, we'll just say 99 for the minute. Click on your item slider and just do desired. So we have a better idea of what this will look like. Now with this text, you want this to be editable. So txt editable text underscore split amount, split quantity. And that's that. Next then we want to grab a slider. Drop it in your vertical box. Now with this, we'll give it a padding of, let's say 5. And we want to call it slider, just like that. Making sure it's variable. The minimum value and the value here will set in the event graph, so that's okay. Next, we want a horizontal box, and this will just house the two buttons. So drag that, drop that on your vertical box. Grab your custom buttons we made, drop them in then. And we can have them fill with a padding of 5. And this will, we can do padding of 10. Change my mind. So in the buttons, we can call them button accept and then button cancel. And there we go. We can add in the text as well. So accept, and we got cancel. And there we go. That's our slider, looking nice. And I hope that's all. So compile and save. Next then, let's go ahead and open up the event graph. So in here, we'll create a function called getItem. We want a inventory component, PPC inventory. So we'll get that. And we want to get the inventory slots and get a copy of the index. Variable index, like so. And this will return the item. So return item. There we go. And we can leave this as a pure function as well. Next, we want to create a custom event on the event graph called set slider min and max values. So we'll get this item, a break. Now we'll get the slider as well, and we want to set the minimum value, which by default I want to be 1. I don't want it to go to 0. So in here, I'll just do 1. Then we want to get this quantity, promote to a variable, current value, current quantity, whichever you prefer. And we can get rid of the item ID. That's not needed. Now we'll then grab this again and set the max value. So to align and connect that here. Next, we'll go ahead and create another custom event called set slider value. So in here, we will get the current value. We will divide it by 2. So that means whenever I'm splitting something, I want it to be in the center. So divide by 2, and we'll get the slider. We'll set the value. And we'll plug this in here, which should convert it to a float for us. And we also want to update the text. So where is this eText split quantity? Set text, the last one at the bottom. Drag your value in here then. Current value, plug it in. And there we go. Right. On event construct then, we can get rid of pre-construct. On event construct, I want to get the mouse position on the viewport. So what this will do is whenever we actually click on an item to split it, this will appear closer to the mouse. So we'll get the border, which I need to make variable. So click on your first border, make it variable, and give it a name if you want. Leave it as border. And we'll do slot as canvas slot. And this allows us to set the position then. And the position will be the mouse and the viewport. So for this to actually work, we need to go back to the designer and click on your border. We need to wrap this with a canvas panel, like so. We can size this to content, as we had before. Now this little star here, that's where the mouse will appear when this spawns in. So we can click on this border and change the alignment to more get what we want. So for example here, and I'll bring it down by 0.4. So my mouse will spawn here when this is created. So once we have that, once we're happy, we can set the slider min and max values and then set the slider value. Next, we can also go ahead and add a mouse leave event. So mouse leave and mouse leave. If we were to get outside of this box, it would remove it from the parent. So from our screens, so we'll do remove from parent. Now that's very handy to have. Next, we want to deal with the slider. So whenever we update the value, so on value changed, we want to get this value and convert it to the current value. So we'll do a set truncate. And we want to set the slider value. So get this, we can just copy this actually. A little easier. This will convert again to float. And the text. So we can actually just grab this. And that should do it for us. Okay, So let's say you don't want to use the slider, you want to click on the text. So we'll click on our editable text, do on text changed. So here what we'll do is we'll convert this to a string, and we want to convert this to an integer, and we want to clamp this value. So the minimum we want to be 1, and the maximum will be whatever the item amount is. So we'll break that open, and this allows us to get the item quantity. There we go. And we want to actually set the current value next. There we go. So we can set the value by clicking on our text as well. We don't have to use the slider if we don't want to. With that, we want to update the text and the slider. So select that. This again, paste, we'll do text first, since this is more relevant to that. And we can then do the slider at the very end. And for that, we can use the current value. There we go. On button cancel then, cancel. We can remove from parent. On button accept, we can split. So we want to get the inventory component, split stack. We have the index and we have the current value. And after we've done that, we also want to remove from the parent. And one more thing, if we hit enter with this text, we want to do the same thing. So on text committed, we go, method will be enum enter, go branch. We want to call this event accept. So in order to do that, we'll create a custom event called on text committed. And this will just run in here, and we can reference that function here. So on text committed. And there we go. So just before we leave, we want the inventory component to be instance editable, expose on spawn, and the same thing for the index. Now, once we've done that, compile this and go ahead and open up your inventory slot. Go to the event graph, go to our mouse and do on preview mouse button down function. If it's not the left mouse, we'll check if it's the right mouse. Okay, branch. Check for the right key. And for the input, mouse event. There we go. And on true, we want to create the widget item slider. Plug in your inventory component and your index. So we have both of these here available to us. And lastly, we want to add the viewport and say this was handled. And there we go. Compile, save. So now, if everything was done correctly, if we hit play and pick up our items, we should be able to right click and split. There we go. Move the slider and change it to 2. 3 shouldn't work because I only have 2. Split that, split the sticks, and it all works. Can I move them around? I can. And the item transfer stacks. So everything's working. So this is it for the video. In the next episode, we'll start the crafting setup. So with that said, I hope you enjoyed. And if you did, leave a like. And as always, happy developing.